Black Ops 6 has been revealed and we've got a ton of new gameplay, we've got loads of details about the campaign, multiplayer and zombies, and I've even managed to pick up a few other details from some analysis of the video that we've got so far. Some people on my Discord, particularly Cassian, who has been eagle-eyed and spotted some pretty incredible things, as well as some information from some creators like Mr. Dalek JD, who were invited out to Treyarch's offices to get a few extra details along the way. So in this video, I'll share my kind of thoughts and reactions with everything we've seen so far, as well as all of the important details and some of the things you might not have heard about yet. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and turn your notifications on for more. So first, let's talk about campaign. It's set during the Gulf War, which I think we pretty much knew already. There's Woods and Adler alongside a new cast of characters, and I'm pretty excited that there's a new cast in this. It's always nice to get some new faces in there. And apparently Woods and Adler have kind of gone rogue from the CIA. Seems like they were maybe set up for something and they're trying to work out who's in charge behind the scenes, who's trying to kind of pull all of the strings. Adler was missing for a few months, so we're not sure if he's the mole. That's kind of what the ARG, the whole Truth Lies thing, has been hinting at. But then we've also been told not to believe things, so maybe Adler isn't really a mole. My guess is on their CIA handle. I think she's probably the bad one in this. But anyway, the campaign looks pretty cool from what we've seen so far. There's really varied locations in it, and they actually talked about that they wanted you to be kind of globe-trotting and seeing some really different places that look very different. There's actually a color palette, which is nice. Everything isn't just like all green or all brown, so that's an improvement. There's a mixture of kind of cinematic set pieces. We've seen a few of those, like the cool motorbike stunt in it. And there's probably some quite linear sequences where it looks like you're just kind of following the AI. But there's also some more open-ended missions. So there's one which they've said is the biggest campaign map so far in Call of Duty history, which is pretty cool. So it looks like you're traveling around a desert trying to get rid of some missile bases. And I'm guessing you'll be able to kind of stealth your way around or go in all guns blazing, kind of like Far Cry or something like that, where you'll be using different tools to take down those bases. And then there's also a mission set in a casino, which is kind of reminiscent of that KGB mission from Black Ops Cold War, which I think a lot of people really liked, in that you were kind of sneaking around the level, trying to find different ways into the sort of basement level of it, and there were a few different ways you could achieve it. It looks like there's going to be something similar in this, where you're trying to do a heist on a casino and there'll be sort of dialogue options. You'll be able to talk to some of the NPCs and you're trying to find ways to complete the heist. That looks pretty cool. They've said there's a bunch of replayability with the kind of different options. So it all looks pretty good. Obviously, I always want to kind of wait to see what it's like when we actually play it, but so far it seems pretty promising, although nothing too out of the ordinary for a Call of Duty campaign. But let's move on to multiplayer, where there's some more significant differences. So a big thing in multiplayer, a big thing that's changed, is the omnidirection movement system. Now this will be in campaign as well, but I feel like multiplayer is where it's going to be most interesting. So with this system, basically, you can sprint in any direction. So if you're strafing when you're sprinting, you'll actually keep on sprinting rather than slowing down, and you'll even be able to run quickly backwards. I'm assuming you'll still sprint faster moving forwards than you do backwards. I don't think they said anything about tactical sprint, but I could imagine if you're moving forwards, you'll be in more like a tactical sprint, and every other direction will be a bit slower. But then you can also do things like diving backwards or diving side to side, and you'll be able to shoot while you're flying through the air. Also, if you're prone on the ground, so say you dive backwards and then you turn around, you'll actually kind of move more naturally while you're turning. This whole thing just looks more natural. It looks like a more natural animation system. I'm not really sure how it's going to affect gameplay that much, but it definitely looks a lot better. Now, some of you who have been watching the channel for a while will know I'm not a big fan of all that kind of glitchy movement. So things like slide cancelling, bunny hopping, head glitching, all of that kind of stuff. I'm kind of hoping this is going to replace a lot of that. It probably won't get rid of head glitches, but it'd be nice if this replaced slide cancelling, because I always thought it seemed weird that people who knew how to take advantage of these weird glitches in the movement system were able to dominate everybody else. I think it'd be kind of cool if the most advanced parts of movement are actually built into the game. You know, if you saw a player who knew how to dive out behind cover and take shots while doing that, that would be really cool, and that would look really cool, and it would be a significant part of the game, rather than it being just kind of an exploit that they've ended up turning into a part of the game. So I'm hopeful for this, that it'll make the movement look a little bit more natural in gameplay, but we'll see how it actually plays in multiplayer. I know a few people have played multiplayer, so it'll be interesting to see what their kind of reactions to all of this is. Kind of as a part of that, there's also a new intelligent movement system. So apparently this will let you run in a direction, and it will kind of take care of things like jumping, mantling, crouching, sliding, depending on what's in front of you in a map. So if you kind of run up to a hole in the ground, it will slide through it automatically. If you run up to a small wall, it will automatically mantle you up over it. To me, it looked kind of like the Assassin's Creed parkour system, you know, where you just kind of run and hold a button and it automatically decides when you need to jump, when you need to drop, when you need to grab onto something. It looked a bit like that. They talked about it being good for things like accessibility, which is obviously awesome. It'll be interesting to see how the kind of pro players manage to take advantage of it. Will it offer you any advantages? Will it kind of maybe make it easier to move around while aiming? It'll be nice if you can kind of keep on using the sprinting system, the omnidirection system, to run around, and the game takes care of the sort of finer movement for you so you can concentrate on hitting your shots. Maybe that'd be pretty cool. Maybe that'd be something I'd be interested in using. There's also something that they called corner slicing that sounded a little bit weird. So apparently as you move around a corner, your weapon will kind of hook around that corner a bit if you're moving slowly. If you're moving quickly, it won't do it. I'm not sure if this will actually offer any sort of gameplay advantages, if it'll let you actually peek around a corner and expose less of your body, kind of like mounting up does at the moment. It did seem like they weren't mounting up in the demos. Maybe I missed something. Let me know in the comments if I did. But I didn't see people mounting, so maybe this is in place of mounting around corners and stuff like that. I'm not really sure, but that'd be interesting if that's what they're doing. Otherwise, it might just be something to make it look a little bit more cinematic. A huge change from the last couple of games, which would be kind of nice, I think, for multiplayer, is that guns and operators and equipment are not carrying over to Black Ops 6. Now, I know some people will be disappointed because there's some people that have this strange idea that when they buy skins in a Call of Duty game, they should last forever and they should be able to use them forever. I don't think that was ever the way things worked before, and I'm not sure if that should be the way things worked, because then you end up with this really bloated game with like a million different operators, a million different guns, which all have to be balanced against each other. They've said clearly in Black Ops 6, so in multiplayer, you will only be able to use Black Ops 6 weapons and operators and equipment. Warzone's different. Warzone, you're still going to be able to use the Modern Warfare 2 and 3 things along with the Black Ops 6 stuff when that gets integrated. And it's kind of interesting they said when it gets integrated. I'm not sure if that'll definitely be at launch. Maybe it'll be like it used to be in the Black Ops Cold War days, where it takes a little while afterwards, maybe with the beginning of Season 1. But anyway, Black Ops 6 multiplayer, just Black Ops 6 weapons, just Black Ops 6 operators. I think that's probably a good move. There's also a couple of other awesome quality of life features that I'm actually really excited about. So one of them is the customizable HUD. So basically your display, like where your minimap is, where your ammo is, all of that kind of stuff, you're going to be able to choose where it goes. I'm not really sure from the presentation so far whether there's presets that will let you choose where things are. So maybe like a preset where everything's on the left, a preset where everything's on the right, a preset where everything's in the middle, or whether you'll actually be able to customize each individual aspect. That would be awesome. But I also kind of talked about if you want it to be kind of fitting around your setup, if you're a streamer, that's really cool. That's something you'll be able to do. And if you want to play something that looks a bit more like hardcore mode, so turn off things like the minimap, like the ammo count, all of that kind of stuff. That might sound a little bit strange to people. People might be thinking, why would you ever turn off the minimap? If you're taking screenshots for thumbnails and stuff, that's absolutely amazing. I'll love it if I'm able to do that, especially if I can do it in the campaign and in Zombies as well, or even in Warzone. Being able to take screenshots without the HUD kind of getting in the way would be absolutely amazing. Hopefully there'll be some way to kind of set up profiles, and then maybe in the quick options when you pause, you'll be able to switch between them. That would be absolutely amazing. So I'm super excited about that. Another thing is a returning feature, and that is the theater mode. So the theater mode's coming back. That means you can replay multiplayer matches, do things like fast forward and rewind. They showed that off. Not sure if it will have a free camera. That would be incredible, where you can kind of fly around the map, you know, pause it and then fly around the map to see where everyone was. That would be really cool, especially for me, again, making videos. They also haven't said if it's going to be available in Zombies and in Warzone. I doubt it will be available in Warzone. That seems like maybe it's too complicated. Remember when they tried it in Blackout and it would kind of record the first 5 minutes of a match and then break in some way. That was kind of weird. But if it worked in Zombies, that would be absolutely amazing. But again, they haven't said that, so I'm not really sure. They've also said that there are 16 all-new maps. So these are 16 maps built from the ground up for Black Ops 6. That's absolutely amazing. 4 of them are maps that could be used in 2v2 mode, so they're kind of smaller maps like gunfight type things, I guess. But they can be used in the bigger map modes if you want. And then there's 12 dedicated 6v6 maps. That seems pretty huge. Getting all new maps is a definite plus to me. I didn't really like it in Modern Warfare 3 when we just had Modern Warfare 2 maps. As good as a few of them are, like High Rise, it wasn't that great just playing on a bunch of maps that I'd already played at. The DLC maps were more exciting to me. So it's really cool that we're going to get them. I have seen people on my Discord were saying there's some little snippets maybe in the presentation where you could see Nuketown in the background. I would expect Nuketown to come back. It is a Black Ops game after all. So I'm assuming there's going to be 16 all new maps and then maybe a couple of other maps. Maybe with Season 1, they'll bring back things like Nuketown, I would imagine. Or maybe it'll be like, you know, unlock it with the pre-order or something like that. Who knows? But I'd expect things like Nuketown and probably Firing Range to come back at some point along the line. Another thing they mentioned for multiplayer, and I suppose for all of the modes, assuming that everything's integrated again, is the Prestige mode is coming back. So this is something that was in all of the older Call of Duty games from like Modern Warfare, I think. So from Call of Duty 4 onwards, they had it, where you'll be able to Prestige, you know, you'll get to max level, unlock everything, and then you can choose to Prestige, which will reset everything. Then you go back, do it again. Once you've done it 10 times, you'll get into Prestige Master mode, where there'll be 1,000 levels for you to work through. It always seems a bit strange when they take away a feature and then they bring it back and advertise it as like, hey, now you've got something that you kind of had before. But to be honest, I'm happy about it. I liked the old Prestige system a little bit more. I found it more entertaining, kind of going through unlocking stuff. It was always cool, like when you got to maximum level and then you reset everything and then you have to kind of relearn how to play, not using your favorite weapons, not using your favorite perks and things, kind of go back a little bit. I think that's cool. I think that's a cool system, so I'm glad that's coming back. Now, this isn't a confirmed thing, but there was something that I just noticed that was kind of interesting in the game. In some of the footage they were showing, there was a weird button that showed up saying, activate security. Now, I'm pretty sure this scene is kind of from a multiplayer bit of gameplay, judging by the minimap and stuff. But what could that possibly mean? Activate security. It's making me think, are the maps going to have some kind of interactive element to them, which is something that I don't think we've seen for quite a while now in Call of Duty. It would be cool if there were things you could activate on a map to change the gameplay. No idea what that was. It wasn't really mentioned in the presentation. It was just shown off for a split second. Although I was thinking when they edit these videos, they probably go through quite carefully to make sure they only show off stuff that they want to show off. You know, I'm guessing we only really saw multiplayer maps that will probably be in the beta and things like that. So yeah, maybe they did want us to have a look at that and start guessing what it could be. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think the activate security button will do? And then finally, zombies. And some of this information has also come from Mr. Dalek JD. He got to go out to Treyarch. He got to see not any extra zombies content really. I think he got to see one screenshot of each map, but he did get to have like a bit of a presentation and here's some extra details. So he did a video all about that stuff. So we know there is a new crew. So in the last couple of zombies games or zombies modes, you've just played as operators and they've all had kind of generic dialogue. Now there is a specific crew. It's kind of, you know, the canon version of how you are meant to play zombies, and they will have unique dialogue and interactions and stuff like that. You can play as any other operator if you want to, but you'll just miss out on that dialogue. You know, you're kind of meant to play as those characters. So I think a lot of kind of zombies content creators and zombies fans will want to play as a crew, and that's pretty cool. Like, I think that's an awesome way of doing it, so people who don't care about the story can just play as whoever they want. And if maybe you're replaying a map for the 1,000th time and you just want to use the new bundle you got, you can do that too. But the first time you play stuff, it'd probably be better to play as the crew. Hopefully in the menus they make that obvious. Hopefully they kind of give you an option saying, hey, do you want to play as the crew or do you want to play as a random operator, just to make it clear how you'll get that extra dialogue. Hopefully they'll do that. Apparently there's 2 brand new maps at launch. They're not remakes or anything like that. It is Liberty Falls, which is in Appalachians, West Virginia, apparently. Now, we saw a lot of multiplayer footage in the presentation from a small town that Cassian on my Discord noticed is Liberty Falls. You can see there's like a police SWAT van on the left. That says Liberty Falls. So Yeah, I think this Zombies map is probably based in the same area. Now, it's not unusual for Call of Duty to reuse assets, to kind of reuse locations and things, but it was one of the criticisms leveled, particularly at Black Ops Cold War, that, you know, map 2, 3, and 4, so Firebase Z and Mauer Toten and Forsaken, were all kind of reusing levels that we'd seen in the campaign, and it felt a little bit like it was less exciting maybe because you were just going back to places that you'd already seen, as opposed to something like Black Ops 4 where the Chaos maps, you know, you had Voyager Despair and you were on the Titanic, or 9 and you were in the Colosseum. They were custom made just for that. That was probably a bit more exciting. So them reusing assets in this way, it's not unusual exactly, but it's maybe a tiny bit of a shame. Hopefully the version of Liberty Falls and Zombies will be dramatically changed, maybe expanded, maybe you'll go to different areas of the town. Maybe there'll even be a story reason for why you're visiting it in like the campaign or multiplayer, and then in Zombies, maybe there'll be some connection there. But yeah, so that Liberty Falls map at least definitely seems like it's a location we're going to be seeing in different modes. But yeah, Liberty Falls is a town, there's a VHS store, there's streets, it's, you know, just an American town. It should be a cool location for Zombies, and it means that there'll be lots of different buildings for you to explore. They've reinforced the idea that there's going to be a ton of different secrets on these maps, so hopefully that'll be a fun one to play. The other map I would say probably sounds more interesting at this point, and that's Terminus. This is set on a remote prison facility in the Pacific Ocean. Apparently, Dalek said it's the place shown at the end of Black Ops Cold War Zombies, like Peck points at somewhere on a map in the Pacific Ocean, so apparently it's there. It's known as Black Site 13 in the Zombies lore. I think this will be more exciting just because it looks like this was custom made for Zombies. Like, this is just for Zombies. It's not a reused campaign level. It's not a reused multiplayer level. It's something completely separate. So that, to me, makes it a bit more exciting. When something has been designed around Zombies, that sounds more exciting to me. So that'll probably be the map that I'll be playing first. It'll be interesting to see when they're releasing 2 maps at launch, whether there's going to be an order to them, like whether you're meant to play one than the other, or whether they're just meant to be taking place at exactly the same time, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe there'll be like 2 different sides. Although if they're meant to take place at the same time, how could you have one crew? That doesn't really make any sense. Surely there'll be an order. Surely the game will suggest an order for you. Hopefully. Anyway, I've got no idea. They've also said Gobblegums are coming back. We know in the pre-order bonuses, I think in the Vault Edition, you get a bunch of Gobblegums. So I'm guessing you'll be able to buy them. For anyone who doesn't know, Gobblegums are like little power-ups that you get in Zombies. Some of them were insanely powerful, giving you huge advantages in the game. And some of them are just kind of slightly more silly things. But anyway, you get a bunch if you buy the expensive edition of the game. So that implies to me that you'll probably get them in like the Battle Pass and in bundles, in a similar way to how you get the extra things from Modern Warfare Zombies right now in the Battle Pass and in bundles. You know, sometimes you'll get a weapon upgrade or something like that. Looks like you're about to do that. They have also said that you'll be able to earn them in-game just like you could in Black Ops 3. So it's not just going to be like this pay-to-win thing, get advantages if you pay for them. You can get them in-game too. I think it's going to be a little bit divisive. It seems like, you know, with DMZ, they did it where you could pay to get characters that would always have a UAV or something like that. Then MWZ, you know, you could pay to get one-use items. That seems a little bit strange. Now you're going to have Gobblegums. I think they're going to have to tread a very careful line and maybe err on the side of being super generous with how you can get them in game, so people don't think, oh, I've got to spend money in order to be able to get through the Zombies Easter egg or something like that, because that would be kind of bad. But that's pretty much everything we know so far. If you want to delve into the lore and the story and things like that, let me know in the comments if you want me to do a video like that. I've never been super into any of the Call of Duty stories, whether that's Zombies or whether it's campaign or whatever, so I don't take it too seriously, but they did give us quite a lot of information about who some of the characters were and why we'd be going to some locations, so we could do a bit more of that if we wanted. What I'm more interested in is what does the game look like and what's the game going to feel like, and we've got loads of information about the changes to how it's going to play and how it's meant to feel. I can't wait to get my hands on this game. I'm really hoping I'll get invited to COD next. That's in August. That's, I think, the next time creators are going to be playing the game and we'd be able to stream it and stuff like that. So if I get invited to that, obviously I'll be making all the content like I did last year, streaming it and making videos and letting you know what I think, because it does feel like with the omnidirection system and things like that, we really need to get our hands on to see what this really feels like. But so far, my overall impression is super positive. Like, I think this looks great. The reveal seems really positive. It seems like loads of people are really happy with what we've seen so far. The game looks really colorful, which is awesome. There's some very varied locations from everything they've shown so far. They've said the right things about like multiplayer and zombies and the campaign so far. There's nothing really that's like shown a red flag. I'm super excited about this. I can't wait to play it, especially zombies. It'll be really exciting to get back into round-based zombies, do Easter egg hunts and all of that stuff again. They haven't said anything about Warzone yet. Stephanie Snowden kind of towards the end of the presentation kind of hinted that maybe there's going to be some news there. So hopefully we'll hear about that soon as well. But yeah, whatever new news comes out, obviously I'll be sharing it right here on the channel. So make sure you subscribe, turn your notifications on, leave a like on this video if you've enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments, what did you think of this reveal?